Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Des Roulette, and today is a very exciting day for me because I'm going to be filming my review of my first PR package. So this is part of an influencer campaign. I received the new Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer, and I was one of the ones to receive a sampler size of the new Tinted Moisturizer to review for you guys. The really cool thing about this box is that they also sent me a full-size foundation primer as well as a full-size translucent powder, and these are still currently for sale on the Nordstrom website, whereas the new version of the Tinted Moisturizer is not out yet. They have changed the formula. I don't know when it's going to be released, but I'll definitely keep you guys updated if you are interested. So I'm going to use all three of the products. I want to include these in my review as well. I did get all of these products complimentary in exchange for my review. I am going to be completely honest about how the formula feels on my skin, about what I think of the finish, the shade, and the coverage, as well as whether or not I feel like this could be part of my go-to makeup routine. So I have fair skin and I have difficulty finding shades that really work with my skin tone, especially with full coverage foundation. This just being a tinted moisturizer, those shades tend to be less concentrated, so they blend out a little bit better. But even still, there have been instances in the past where I've purchased tinted moisturizers and they've been noticeably darker than my natural skin tone. So far, just looking at the package, the shade looks perfect. There's a little peek through of the product in the tube, and it does appear to be pretty light. So let's get started. I have my clean e.l.f. makeup sponge. This one's my favorite. So I'm actually going to start with foundation primer. It has sort of a pearlescent sheen. Just gonna dab that on and rub it in. The primer feels just a little bit heavy. It does have that initial gummy feeling as it soaks in, but that appears to be going away. I'm just gonna press that into my skin a little bit. Try not to rub too heavily or make too big of circles because I don't want to pull my skin too hard, and that can lead to wrinkles and droops and things like that. So now that it's had a moment to absorb, it actually doesn't feel heavy anymore. It feels pretty natural. I am noticing a little bit of a glow to my skin, which I absolutely love. I really love this movement of primers and tinted moisturizers that have just a little bit of an iridescent kind of glow into them. 10 years ago, like, highlighter wasn't even really a thing. The general public wasn't really wearing highlighter in their daily life. So I'm kind of excited about the fact that highlighter did become extremely popular, because I'm noticing that a lot of products are now including that pop of shimmer. I know some people don't like it, but for me personally, I love it. I think it helps my skin look really fresh and youthful, and I'll take any excuse for that. There was a little bit of color in that primer. Even when I wiped my fingertips off, there was a tiny bit of a color transfer, but it's very, very neutral. Don't be afraid to use it. Let's go ahead and start with the tinted moisturizer. The tinted moisturizer has an SPF of 30, and the directions do state to apply 15 minutes before sun exposure. It also states that it should be reapplied every 2 hours. If you're spending the day out in the sun, just stick the tube in your purse, in your beach bag, bring it with you, and make sure that you're paying attention to the fact that it will be sweated off. By the way, this is the color Pearl. I did provide my skin tone, so they did send me the Pearl. I also have cool to neutral undertones, so I just squeeze some of the product out onto my hands. It has good texture. It's not runny at all, which I love for application, but it makes me think that it might feel heavy. Okay, I don't know if it's because my makeup sponge is damp right now or if it is the product itself, but it feels really nice. It just feels really refreshing. So that amount of product that you saw on my hand did seem to be enough to blend into my whole face, but I am gonna add just a little bit more because I don't really feel like I got enough on there. This formula does feel incredibly light. I don't feel like I'm wearing any products on my face at all. However, it's not really providing any coverage in the sense of regulating my skin tone or like hiding blemishes or anything. But that's okay with me because having used the primer and kind of giving myself a little bit of a glow, I actually feel like this is helping my skin to look a little bit healthier and to look a little bit more youthful in general. So I don't mind the fact that you can still see some of the discoloration under my eyes, around my eyes, as well as some of the acne on my chin. I tend to get acne in this area here, in this area here, sometimes here, and it's not glaringly obvious. This is also what the moisturizer looks like blended into my hands. And it is so light, it's so sheer, you can barely even see that there's any product there at all. Okay, I can see some of the product collecting in the creases of my face, on the outside of my nose, on the outside of my nostrils, as well as the top of my nose, which I don't like. This happens with products when they're too dry for my skin. I have very dry skin. So I'm feeling like this probably means that the Tinted Moisturizer is likely formulated for more of a combination skin to possibly oily skin. So I feel like I was able to liberally cover my entire face with just those two little squeezes from the tube. The sample tube is 0.8 fluid ounces, so it's not even a full ounce, it's just slightly smaller than a full ounce. I think it's probably going to take a good deal of time to get through this. I use way more moisturizer than that, like twice a day, so I think it's probably going to last a while, which is good. I am also going to try the translucent powder to set my tinted moisturizer. This would help you keep the product on your skin a little bit longer. I've actually had my eye on this product for a really long time, but I couldn't bring myself to spend $39 on it. So yeah, here we go. It comes with this sticker here to keep the product in, so you just lift that sticker up. Just gonna shake a little bit of product out, and I lost some. And this powder feels very light. This is much lighter than the setting powder that I normally use. I can see a lot of sections where the moisturizer is really settling into my pores, onto my skin. It looks a little dry and sludgy, so I'm not super psyched about that. I think the setting powder has kind of brought out these patterns of dry moisturizer on the bridge of my nose as well as the corners. I'm noticing it now around my mouth as well. I also noticed that I've pulled off some of the moisturizer in areas just by going over it with the sponge and the powder. I definitely don't have a smooth finish. It looks a little patchy and I don't like it. I think that my skin is just too dry for it, and it kind of just makes my skin feel really thirsty, which is not ideal because it's a moisturizer. I've had these problems with certain foundations before. I don't think I've ever had this problem with a tinted moisturizer. However, I would tend to only be purchasing tinted moisturizers that are made for dry or even ultra dry, extra dry skin. I have a feeling that these tinted moisturizers are for combination skin or oily skin. It doesn't say that. And SPF could be drying out my skin, which if I buy a product that's focused on dry or ultra dry skin with SPF, it would be formulated to address that concern. This just isn't for dry skin. I love the primer. The primer is definitely an A+. I feel like I could use that every single day. That would definitely be part of my go-to makeup routine. The tinted moisturizer, I don't anticipate using for my skin. I think that the biggest issue that I have with it is that it feels a little drying and therefore is settling into the drier parts of my face. And the color is a little bit off. I would hope that there is a lighter shade. If there isn't a lighter shade, then I feel disappointed that there's not a broader range. So all in all, as far as my experiment goes, Unfortunately, I don't think that this product is for me, but I do really like the way it feels when it goes on. I like that I feel as though I get good saturation with a small amount of product. I like that it doesn't feel like I'm wearing anything. I just don't think I can recommend it for dry skin. I do have really finicky skin when it comes to the dryness and the saturation. That's definitely something that I deal with often, but I love, love, love the primer, and I really like the feeling of the translucent powder as well. I did just add a little bit of my regular lightweight moisturizer to my skin after my application, and it feels better already. So that was kind of my way to gauge whether or not the issue was the formula in the tube or the issue was my skin. I think the issue is definitely my skin. And that's a bummer because I think it looks really good now. I'm having way less of the settling and the drying that was occurring before just by adding my moisturizer on top. So this probably could be something that I use as long as I don't mind adding my own moisturizer, both underneath and on top. I did moisturize my skin before I started filming today, but I think it looks pretty good. I think my skin looks pretty good. So, okay, that's it. That was all for today. Thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, please let me know down below. I'm gonna add a written review on Sephora.com as well as a written review on Influenster, and my username there is DesRoulette as well, in case you want to follow me there, see if I can better verbalize how I felt about the product in a little bit more of a truncated space, because as you know, I do tend to get a little wordy on here. But thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I'm actually going to be adding a 50 facts about me video really soon. I'm working on putting that together now. So if you want to know a little bit more about who I am or why I am, then you can come back and look for that. I hope to see you soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.